Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Inter Extra podcast. It is me, Sean, but once again, I have my co host, Simi. Welcome back, Simi. How are you doing?
Guys, first of all, thank you for the introduction, bro. I feel like I'm reborn. I'm back, guys. Sorry for the absence. I'm doing well, thank you. As you can see, guys, new background. I don't want to say too much. If you know me personally, you know um what's going on. But I moved to a whole different country, new setup, new background. The interscarf is dangling from the clothing rack. But yeah, feels good to be back. I did miss a bunch of stuff from the last few weeks, so I will try to catch up as much as possible. But it feels good to have the podcast back. I did miss it a lot, and yeah, I'm very excited to be back. Setup's gonna be more complete soon, so yeah. But how are you doing, Sean?
I'm good. Yeah, I missed having you on the pod, and I know the people missed listening to you. So,
Oh,
um, yeah, it's
yeah,
been good. But yeah, I've been good and um, having to get this out before I go traveling a little bit this weekend as well. So,
yeah.
uh, yeah,
Mr.
should be good.
International,
We're
yeah.
glad to, oh,
Love
yeah,
to
glad
see
to
it.
do this though before we all, yeah, we had one short time frame that we could fit all this in, guys, and we're
We're
doing
trying, man. We're trying.
good. Oh yeah. All right. Well, today we have a lot of things that we're going to go over. So, of course, I wasn't able to put a podcast out for the last 2 weeks. So we've got 3 weeks worth of topics to discuss.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to cover all of the games. So between the senior men team, the women's team, U23, and Primavera. Um, and then, of course, all of the interloanees or players that we still have some control over, i.e., Stankovic.
Yes.
And yeah, gonna dive into some of those games. Maybe not into too much detail. Um,
We'll try and keep it short,
Also, I want to,
basically.
yeah, I do want to thank. Um, Sorry, mine's blanking. Alessandro Rafa for coming on last week. We had some technical difficulties, which is why I wasn't able to put that podcast out. But he graciously spent some time. I do want to get some of his thoughts out, so I'm gonna start clipping um, the his takes on some of these things. But we're gonna just probably go over some of the performances of the players. I think that are important to hit. So. Um, like of course players getting debuts is news, so we want to kind of talk about them a little bit. um and then yeah, all the situations dealing with players, um injuries, controversy, our management, things that they decisions that they've made, and then also the stadium situation, which I know is the probably the biggest thing that we're going to talk about, especially over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap up with some some slight transfer news, because even outside of the mercato, we do have some news come in a little bit. And then we'll preview and tell all of you what to look for this weekend's games.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say before
and
we get
Simi, if
into
you want
it,
to tell,
just a quick
yeah,
reminder, guys, if you are not subscribed already to YouTube, make sure you go subscribe. Make sure you like, comment your opinions on any of the topics we discuss. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, somehow don't follow us on Twitter already, we are closing in on 70K still, guys, Inter_Extra. And if you're listening on any of the platforms, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, or sorry, Apple Podcasts or Amazon, then make sure you give us a rating as well. 5-star rating preferably. And yeah, Sean, I'll let you start with, I guess, a roundup of the games because you've been able to watch more than me.
yeah, and just yeah, I'm keeping up with everything for sure. Um, I know if anyone wants to comment down below and let us know, or tag us on Twitter and let us know where we can watch the women's games, that would be great. I would be guessing that there is a place for to watch them, and UEFA and Italy are trying to grow the women's game, so I would imagine they wouldn't be behind a paywall. So that would be great to know where those are. But yeah, just to cover some of their games. They finished the Serie A Women's Cup group phase with a loss to Como. It didn't affect where they finished in the group, so they still advanced. Um, they went on to play Juve in
Okay.
a Derby d'Italia semifinal because it was just four teams advance, and they play a semifinal and then a final in this. So lost to Juve in the semifinals. I believe it was a 1-0 loss.
Okay.
In between all of those games, they did play a two-leg qualification match against Hibernian, the Scottish team, um, where they won 5-1 on aggregate. And so they are now in the Europa Cup group phase, I believe. Um,
Right.
so that's going to start when the women's season starts across Europe, which is great. It's the first season in Europe for the women's team. It is only about 4 or 5 years old to begin with, so it's great the fast progress that they've made. Um, Inter management have made a lot of investments into that team to make sure that they are successful quickly. Um, and then, yeah, so had some up and downs, um, but yeah, so finished with the Serie A Women's Cup this preseason tournament, and then qualified for the Europa Cup. Um,
Lovely.
but yeah, good things, good things for the women's team. And then the Primavera, we've talked about a couple times. They have been gutted by the U23 team. A lot of those, you know, some of the players that would still be eligible for the Primavera squad did move up. So they've been struggling this season. So after the Supercoppa win against Cagliari at the start of the season, they have two draws, two losses, um, and then so two draws in the league, a loss in the league, and two draws in the Champions League Youth League. Um, so they've been struggling. Honestly, they're still not going to be relegated. I do believe that it's connected to the senior team. So as long as they don't finish last in the league, they won't be relegated,
Yeah.
which is good. That's, it's a developmental league. We have the most league titles for the Primavera level. I'm not worried about it too much. Have you watched any of those games?
I did watch a little bit yesterday of the Youth League game against Slavia Prague. There was a few, obviously, Idrisu and Mosconi there with the under 20 Italy under 20 national team now, who are currently playing their second game, I think, against Cuba, which I'll keep an eye on as well, guys. So if they do anything, because Mosconi won a penalty, just to quickly throw that in there, Mosconi won a penalty in the first game against Australia under 20, I believe, and Idrisu played a decent game as well. So those two are missing, which is an extra, bit of pain for the Primavera side. But yeah, so the the main game I watched was yesterday, and I'm not gonna act like the under 23 isn't hurting them, but at the same time, it is a good chance for those under 18 players to step up and maybe like show their worth. Like Zuin on the left wing is one of those players that I feel like last year didn't really get a chance because of how many players were in the Primavera. He's now getting his chance to show himself. Great left winger, great player, skillful, fast, and Lavelli's like seems to be the main striker in terms of the starting spot. Even though he still sometimes comes on for the under 23, but yeah, no, I watched yesterday. A bit of a tough game against Slavia Prague. That equalizer they conceded late on was a bit of yeah, it sucks. But the Ajax game I didn't watch. I don't know if you watched the Ajax game or any of the league games.
I haven't been. I did watch. I watched the second half of the Juventus game.
Okay.
So I only watched the two goals they conceded near the end, which wasn't good. But
Okay, you're not watching any more
yeah,
Primavera games then.
yeah, no, no, not good. They're not doing well when I watch them. But it's yeah, I'm not too worried at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you said, giving those U18 players a chance to step up. Idrisu is one of those as well. He's 17,
very promising.
making
Yeah,
that step up. Um, and yeah, I've heard good things. I've heard that management likes him, so hopefully he Yeah, and he and Mosconi are also playing an important part of that U20 team in the U20 World Cup. So, yeah, it's good. I guess, yeah, not much else from me on those games because I just didn't like what I saw in the second half. But
Yeah, hopefully the youth league can be at least like the league phase. It works the same as in Champions League. If you guys don't know, hopefully the wins start coming, and then qualification. I don't actually know how qualification works because it's different because they also have a domestic path. So I don't know how youth league qualification works, but if we could advance to whatever the next round is, that would be nice. And then the primavera, as in like the league, I guess will be a bit tougher because it's week in, week out. But if we can get the results in youth league, that would be good. Maybe go as far as last season because last season was a very strong campaign. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah.
yep. Now on to the U23 team. We're just moving forward in these levels. We've missed a ton of games actually in the last 3 weeks for
Yeah.
the U23 team. They
Some
played a
midweeks
lot.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, they've played 5 games. I think since the last time that I recorded. Um, to go through those, it was a loss against Lecco, and then midweek after that, got their first win against Virtus Verona, and then 3 more wins since then. So there are 4 wins in a row, um, which is awesome. This past weekend, they won against Triestina, um, 2-0, I believe, the score line. I haven't been able to watch some of these. I've been watching the highlights.
Yeah.
Some of the finishes that these guys have are quite good. So Spinace's brace this weekend,
Yeah.
both of those finishes were good. Those were good finishes.
Yeah.
Um, Topalovic has been playing well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and of course our youngsters Fiorellino and Lagumina are performing well at the
Yeah.
moment. Our 29-year-old youngsters,
Yes.
helping the squad. But yeah, the only loss that they've had this season, is against their group leaders.
Yeah.
So Group A leaders.
The
Um,
Lecco are a Serie B level team. Like we if they don't get promoted this season, I'll be very surprised. Like they should theoretically be like a standard Serie B team. I just wanted to mention because you said some of the finishes. I don't know if you watched the highlights, but that Fiordilino goal from I don't know if it was against Cristina. I think it was, or if it was against Pergolitese, but he has a strike and a half on him, bro. His foot is he has a
I
great
did see
shooting
that goal.
technique. Yeah. And then
Yeah,
also I did watch the game on Sunday against Lumezzane away. I managed to watch the whole game. Spinacci is a great striker. Like finishes aside, right? Like 2 great goals. He is like if he keeps this up anyway, like he is pushing to not just get a good loan move, but in 1-2 years maybe get a a spot in the senior team because he is performing like kind of like a lot of people expected him to based on how he played with the Primavera because he was already showing like good signs with the Primavera, but if he keeps this up, he's challenging some of the guys that are not only in the first team but also returning from loan and stuff like that. So the fact that he's starting to find his feet in terms of scoring now as well because he had good games before scoring, but now he's actually started to score for the under 23 side. It's good to see.
yeah, yeah. Do you think? I mean, I'm just thinking in January. Do you think he would get a Serie B move if he continues to play well?
It wouldn't be bad because that would give Jan Zubarek some space to play as well because he's been playing at the start, but then Lagumina joined, and then you kind of feel like again 3 strikers. That's not a lot, but you kind of want Zubarek to play as well because he had a good preseason. So it would be a bit of a shame if not all of them got the amount of minutes that they deserve. Now there are some midweek games, so it feels like everyone could have got their chance, but I feel like now the midweek games are over because I'm looking at the schedule and it looks like there's not really too much going on in terms of like back-to-back games and games within 3 days. So yeah, maybe a Serie B move wouldn't be too bad, but maybe you also say you give him that full season with the same team in order to allow him to grow. I guess that's up to the management to decide. But he's having a great time
Yeah,
right now. Yeah.
yeah. I'm thinking of just if you could fast track his trajectory, because um, I know that he's gonna get a loan to Serie A before he would even get a chance at the Inter squad.
Of course, of course.
But
Unless you're Pio, then it's different.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but no, he's been playing well. I mean, the the team's been scoring. I mean, shown by wins. Also, um, yeah, the team's defensively solid, um, structured. I mean, the results are showing that. Conceding
Yeah.
very little, even against a team like Lecco, only conceding one. I mean, it was a 1-0 loss. These are good results, and it's good to see for the team. And one player I did want to mention, that's come in and kind of immediately done well is Antonio David.
Yeah.
So the Romanian Italian, I believe, has citizenship with both. But yeah, he's come in and he's played a couple good games immediately. Started the last two games, I believe. No, Koki played against Triestina, but at the weekend and the midweek last week. Yeah, just been yeah, he's looked like he's been doing well, and
And he
getting
has
involved a
competition
lot.
too with Koki. That is not an easy spot to take, you know?
Yeah. So I'm excited for those two, to kind of push themselves to see what they can do. Those two,
Yep.
um, there's a lot of promise with them, and especially Koki. People are excited about him. So yeah, it's good. They said at the beginning of the season that they were shooting for promotion to Serie B, and
It was a
they've
high
kind
aim, you
of
know. You remember we were talking
yeah,
about it. Like if they pull that off, like respect for the bravery to say that at the start of the season.
yeah.
Like I don't want to
Now
look at the table now actually because the table. I mean, fourth place, 5 points off of Vicenza, but um, they only
that's
drew one game.
playoffs.
Yeah, the
That's
playoffs is up to down to 10th place. Yeah, I mean, playoffs is more than doable. Like 100%. The only thing is, can you perform in the playoff games? But obviously, the higher you rank, the better, right, for the playoffs. But I'm more than happy with how the recent games have went, and I don't know about you, but it feels like you're watching an Inter B side play. Well, that's the name, but like you remember last season we were craving for like cocky minutes, Berenbrook minutes, like those kind of things in the main team. Now we can watch these guys on a decent level week in week out if we want to. Okay, they're not playing for the senior team, but it is something. It's something. I don't know about you, but to me, that's
yeah,
nice to be able to watch them.
yeah, absolutely. And something that I've noticed, especially watching the highlights. Thankfully, Inter don't just show the goals. Sometimes they show a little bit more in their highlights, but you can see the difference between a grown adult that they're playing against and these kids that are 21 years old or younger. There's a
Definitely.
physical difference that you can see. And Pio committed to getting his body ready to play in Serie A that this last season in Serie B. If we can see some of that in these kids through in Serie C, just physically be able to take the next step, that's already an improvement on trusting them. Because one of the
100%.
things is, you might be technical enough to do it, you might be quick enough to play at the top level, but there's going to be players and teams that are going to want to take you out physically and just
Especially in
bully
Italy.
you.
Yeah.
hmm And so that's something that I'm excited to see throughout this season, especially players like Berenbrook and Topalovic,
I think Berenbrook is
who,
still injured, right?
yeah, yeah.
So he's
But I'm,
struggling a
yeah, I need
bit.
to just through the whole season, just kind of see if they can handle it.
Yeah.
Um, because they're the ones that people had the idea that they were going to be strong enough already to kind of to make that step. And so,
Yeah.
technically, people think they're ready. I want to see physically that they're also ready. But anyway, we'll move on to the senior squad. Just to run through all of their games since the last time that we talked,
Did you cover
or
the
since I
Derby
recorded.
loss?
That was right before that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we had the crazy Pazza Inter. 4-3 loss against Juventus. Um, we have had 4 wins on the bounce since then.
Yeah.
So, 2 in the league and 2 in the Champions League, um, which is great. You know, we've beaten our bogey team in Sassuolo. Started off
Yeah.
really strong against these 2 teams in the Champions League. Ajax is no scrub. I know that they're struggling a little bit this season, losing their manager Farioli, who had them defensively strong last
Yeah.
season.
He's doing
Before,
incredible at Porto, by the way. He's doing
yeah,
very well.
absolutely. And then yeah, yesterday against Sparta Praha, it was another dominant performance, and it's something that we're seeing against these, the lower teams. So Torino, I think Udinese was just a fluke. It's not like, I mean, we dominated Udinese in that game as well. It's not like they dominated us.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Sassuolo, Cagliari, they were good games, but yeah, after the loss against Juventus, we've won 4 in a row,
It's the right way to
which is
bounce
a good
back.
response.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I remember I
Absolutely.
don't know if I think Sharma said it on one of his streams. The next 3 Serie A games, like after the Juventus loss, the next 3 Serie A games are crucial to win. Like you can't drop points whatsoever. And
Yeah.
Champions League, I don't really think there was anything like we had to do, but since the first 4 games are the easier ones, quote unquote, I feel like it's also right to like it's only right to also win those because of the opponents that will be coming from match day 5. So
Yeah.
definitely the right way to respond. And I don't know if you want to point out anything from the games, but my main takeaway is, well, there's 2 things actually. The one thing which we'll touch on the injury later, but Marcus Thuram and also Hakan Çalhanoğlu playing an insane amount of minutes, literally playing every 3 days, starting every few days basically, was had me a bit worried, and for the right reason, because Thuram, even though he got substituted off yesterday, like you could tell that eventually he was going to get injured. He has this, we've known this, we've seen this last season and the season before that as well. Like you can't overplay him. With Hakan,
Yeah.
probably the same thing at this point, honestly. And it was only a matter of time until he might have feel something, as they always say, or if he goes to the national team maybe, and then he plays another 90 minutes back to back, like within the space of 4 days, he's probably like it's way more likely for him to get injured. That's the one thing that I'm a bit unhappy about, I guess, especially about the 4 wins. Obviously I'm happy with those,
Yeah.
but squad management can be slightly better. And then I just want to point out I'm so happy for Pio's first goal, first Serie A goal. I was celebrating that like it's the Champions League, bro. Like that guy has won my heart, man. So the fact that I managed to watch that game in full and be able to catch that first Pio goal, yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I think, yeah, the whole Inter fan base is behind him, and it's so good. It was great. Yeah. Also, with your point on the squad management, I'm less worried about Tikus and I'm more worried about Hakan for 2 reasons. I see Kivu actually trusting the players that can come in for Turam,
Yeah,
but I don't think he trusts anyone to truly play the Hakan role that is a rotation player.
yeah.
He trusts Barella to play there,
Well, he's overplayed
but
already.
yes, but you've got to figure out how to rest them, and they can't play every game. So I'm wondering what Kivu will do. This is where, people who have been worried about his inexperience, this is where it's come into play. So he doesn't know who to trust yet in the Hakan role specifically, but you know, he sees what Tikus brings to the team and how hot he started this season. He doesn't want to take him out. Just because they started hot doesn't mean that you can't rest them. Like they need to be taken care of. They're playing, I mean, 60 minutes every 3-4 days is still a lot of game time. You're not losing form doing that.
Yeah,
Um, but you can also average that by 90 and 30. So, um, it's we'll see how Kivu responds. Luckily, we do have the players to actually fill in for Tikus now that he has been injured and he's going to be out for a couple weeks.
That's the luxury now,
Um,
yeah, to be able to have that strikers department, like the way it looks. I remember tweeting the Boni roulette from yesterday, from the Slavia Prague game. It's the difference is crazy night and
yeah,
day compared to Taremi, for example. With all due
yeah,
respect to Mehdi Taremi, Anjan Boni is crazy, crazy good. And Pio as well, obviously.
and
We
I
already
mean,
talked about Pio.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Taremi, Arnautovic, and Correa. There's not much worse you could do. All respect to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish them all the luck currently, but there is a commitment that we have to Inter, that we wanted Inter to do their best, and yeah, we just recognize that they weren't it. But I did want to ask you to talk about some players specifically, and I'll share my thoughts after. Um, so since I've recorded last time, the first player that I want to mention got his debut and has appeared in every single game since. He replaced Pavard right at the end of the window. Manuel Akanji has been filling in that right center back role. We haven't seen him in the center. What have you taken from his performances in the last 5 games?
Um, Very solid, and I was very critical of his arrival at first, especially because of the way that Pavard left. I don't like it though, because Benatia, who's like Marseille sporting director or something like that, said that they've been in contact since April, May, and then he pulls that move off the last week of August. It was
Yeah.
very like it was very confusing because like where's all this Benji and Linterista talk? Like it's gone out the window, and I was a little bit disappointed. In terms of on the pitch, it didn't make sense for me because why are we signing Akanji on loan? Like it just felt like a swap that wasn't really needed, and Inter didn't really get much out of it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I didn't understand it from like it doesn't make Inter better, but it also doesn't make Inter worse. Like what's the point? That's what I was kind of saying. Now the way that Akanji's been playing, Pavard was good, don't get me wrong, but Akanji is very good. He is very, very
Mhm.
solid, and he's starting to prove himself in terms of like also to people like me that were like, oh, what's the point in this transfer or this like swap? Well, not really a swap because Pavard went to Marseille and Akanji arrived from City, but you get the point, right? Just
Yeah.
swapping
Yeah.
a world class defender for a world class defender. What's the point? And so
Hmm.
at first I was critical, but I actually really like Akanji. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, it seemed like a sideways move.
Yeah,
You're not actually taking a step forward and reinforcing. You're just one in, one out. But I like how he plays a lot more than how Pavard plays.
yeah,
Pavard wanted to be a defender and he wanted to play, take that right center back role and kind of stay more towards the wing and stay deep, not kind of make those runs that Bastoni made under Inzaghi all the time. But he kind of shifts centrally, which helps break up attacks and
yeah,
counters that happen centrally. There was, two or three potential um, counterattacks yesterday in the Sparta game where he just kind of was in his position that he was sitting in a little more centrally, just stepped across and stopped the attack, stopped the pass from even getting to their striker, and it was just wonderful. It was something where Pavard would have been backtracking and covering defensively there, which he did well.
yeah,
There were only a couple instances where I ever remember Benji not being able to defend well on the counter, but it's so much different to the way Kivu wants to play, where we're actually winning the ball back at the halfway line instead of everyone's retreating back and trying to cover. This also saves legs, you know.
yeah,
You win the ball at the halfway line instead of everyone having to track back. You don't have to run the 30 yards back up the pitch again,
yeah,
you know. It just it might seem like a little thing, but you save 40 here 80, 120. You start getting close to through a game, you're saving a lot of legs,
Yeah.
allowing your high press to continue to have some energy in it.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed what he's done. And then of course he's excellent on the ball. So
Yeah, very mature as well. You can tell. Like compared to like especially what you just mentioned. Not that Pavard isn't mature, but like you said, defensively he's a bit more passive. Akanji will just like get like stuck in there literally, as they say in England. Like just like no nonsense. Very
mhm.
mature and knows what he has to do. And it's nice to be able to fit a player. Like you can tell that says a lot about our player's quality or qualities if he can fit straight into a world class side and doesn't look out of place. Like he literally didn't even need like 2 3 training sessions. He just went straight into that 11, and yeah, it's done incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Staying in defense, the next player I wanted to mention, or the next position I wanted to mention is going to be the center back role. So we've seen more of Stefan de Vrij
Mm-hmm.
um, at the beginning of this season, and honestly, the times he started, I felt more comfortable.
Yeah.
I know Acerbi played really well yesterday, but I still feel more comfortable with Stefan de Vrij. What have you thought on his good start to the season?
Well, you guys know, if you know me, you guys know how I feel about Stefan de Vrij. Like, I'm a big fan. I'm probably his biggest fan. If he has one fan, it's me. If he has a million fans, I'm the biggest fan. If he has no fans, I'm dead. Um, there's 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 been a lot of talk, like in general. Again, Acerbi, like fair play, like he's still playing incredible for his age. Also great, like pre-assist yesterday to Ram to set up
Yeah,
the second
yeah,
goal.
crazy run.
Crazy run, right? Like you thought, who's this guy's up? It's like Grandpa Messi, whatever. But De Vrij is just like not only is he young, obviously that helps, but I feel like this is like a great season to for him to show that he is world class, and people just tend to forget it. Like just because Acerbi was so crucial last season doesn't make De Vrij less crucial or less good or less world class. I feel like if he can play more than he played last season, if he plays more this season than he did last season, I feel like he'll step it up even more just because he'll get into a good rhythm and be able to play well.
Yeah,
But I do like that you bring those two guys up because yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I think the difference between De Vrij and Acerbi's performances, even last season, is not their performances; it's the trust.
yeah,
Inzaghi just trusted Acerbi because he's known him for 9 seasons.
yeah,
Like it's just you have your guy, you trust him. I get it. I think Kivu trusts them equally. And so even seeing them play 50-50 throughout the season is going to be much better, right?
yeah,
Because if Acerbi has the energy to do the runs he did yesterday, that's just better all around. It's good. Um, I did say I've said before, I can't remember who I was telling, but De Vrij needs a little bit more game time to keep his form, which is
definitely,
why I would like him to start more. Because Acerbi, as we've seen, recovering from injuries, like we did yesterday, you can throw him on and he's going to give you the same level. It might be declining slowly because of age. You can't beat Father Time, but you throw him on and Acerbi's going to give you Acerbi. There's not going to be a change there.
yeah,
So I would like Stefan de Vrij to be the starter more 60-40 maybe, because that'll keep de Vrij better and fresher.
yes,
And so then we'll actually have two guys ready to go in that position. Um, yeah. The next one I wanted to mention, who had a lot of controversy over the summer, and has a little bit of a renaissance in the last couple of weeks, is Hakan Çalhanoğlu. He's really turned it around since the last time we recorded. What have you seen? What have you liked from what you've seen from him?
everything really. He hasn't done much wrong since basically since the Udinese game, since people have started to, throw him under the bus and be like, oh, like, we should have sold him when Gallo or Fenerbahce came in. I don't want to say I'm innocent because I definitely had like my opinions on that at some point where I was like, okay, I don't understand what the point in all this like transfer talk or like why is he trying to force his way out, whatever. Not that I believed everything, but just the
I'm
noise
with you.
around
I was
him.
there as well.
Yeah, I mean, just the noise around it was a bit like unsettling. But there was definitely people that were a lot more extreme in terms of like wanting to get rid of him because of everything that happened. To what he's like, the response that he had to those kind of voices has been incredible because he has stepped up not just one, two levels. Like, you need to remember, this guy came back from a complicated injury as well. Kivu said this multiple
Yeah.
times. I feel like people
Mhm.
tend to forget that really quickly. Like, yes, he was on holiday in Turkey, and it is not a good look. But besides the fact that it is his home country, right? Like,
Yeah,
he had
right.
a tough injury to overcome, and it was never going to be easy for him to get back into that rhythm. But now that he has got back into that rhythm, scored some crucial goals. I feel like he scores a long shot every second game now. Like, he is more than crucial to this midfield, and like you said earlier, there's no like vice Hakan this season. It's either Barella, who's overplayed, and Zielinski, who barely plays in that role and isn't good enough defensively. So
Yeah.
it's really like he's the most crucial player based off of who can you not replace, like with
Yep.
a player for in that same position. So I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. I just hope he stays fit. That's the only thing. I hope he stays fit.
Me too.
I hope
Hmm.
Kivo manages him well in those lesser Serie A games. Play Zielinski in that role. Whatever you need to do, like maybe try Sutric, whatever. Right? Anyone who isn't tired, like Çalhanoğlu is tired. So yeah. But anything you want to add?
Yeah, it's I I know in the summer that I was saying that I would sell him, but
Yeah.
it was only for the price that Inter was asking. There was no need to give a cut price for Hakan. And it was something that I had said on the Tutto Calcio podcast in the summer before the season started. Um, One of the guys on the podcast asked me, "What do you think is going to happen to Inter with all this drama? Do you think that the team's going to collapse? You don't have your manager." They specifically asked about Hakan, who now I'm convinced was not the topic of conversation with Lautaro's words at the Club World Cup. So all of that aside, I said if Hakan comes back this season, I'm not worried because he's a professional. Even if he does want to leave and he still has his mind, he's thinking about leaving, I'm not worried because he's going to play to his absolute best because he loves Inter, right?
Yeah.
There was nothing that Inter did that ruined that relationship, and he's going to come in and he's going to play. Now, what we've seen since the Juve game on has been better than what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get a mix of what we were seeing at the end of last season. And that could have been, like you said, the injuries that he dealt with over the summer might have been lingering from the season. And Inzaghi could not trust Aslani and had to play him. Just you have to fight through this. We knew a bunch of the squad was fighting through injuries near the end of last season. So, yeah, everybody, prayers, thoughts, positive vibes, good energy, whatever it is to keep Hakan healthy, we've got to do it. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad with what he's done so far.
Yeah.
Um, the last three players. Do you have anything else to add about Hakan?
No.
Okay, so the last three players we're gonna go through a little bit quickly. Those are kind of the ones that I wanted to highlight because they were kind of big news changes. Um, but we talked about it a little bit. But Pio, not only did he get his first goal for Inter, but Champions League debut, excellent performance. He has come in and shown that he's ready to play at this level. And we finally got the goal to show. And I feel like we're going to see so many more.
Yeah.
How have you felt about Pio?
Yeah. I feel like the goal against Cagliari was kind of like just like the flood has been held back, but the gates are open now. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the best way I can put it. Like if he gets, let's say he starts against Cremonese, which I'm guessing he will because obviously Thuram is injured, Lautaro needs some rest. Obviously, got subbed out at the 60 something minute this last night, but still, I'm expecting him to start. If he gets another goal, I feel like he can reach double digits this season in Serie A. Like even as a
Absolutely.
backup striker, as a third or fourth striker, and that in your first professional season would be like amazing. You know, coming from 2 seasons in Serie B, you know, it's not like you don't just do that. So yeah, very happy with Pio. Very happy. Again, we already touched on it. The goal was amazing, and again, Champions League debut in Amsterdam. Not an easy place to go. I know they had Davy Klaassen in their starting 11, but like it's still a good team to play against. You know, when I saw that, I was genuinely like, is that Davy Klaassen? Like I could not believe my eyes. Um, but yeah, nah. What do you think? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, just yeah, kind of relief from the goal, but his general overall play has been great.
Yeah,
And the one thing that I will say, we've seen some Juventini and Milanisti talk about Pio recently, and then Francesco Camarda scored as well at the weekend.
yeah,
The Ronaldo Messi legacy is in good hands with those two. Don't you worry. Francesco Pio and Camarda are going to carry that torch for the next 15 years. Don't you worry. Write
yes.
it down, clip it.
Whatever you say, I'll just, I will clip it. Actually, I will clip it. You don't have to ask me twice.
All right, the next guy I wanted to talk about, and we've just seen him get a call up to his national team, but Carlos Augusto coming in a couple games and absolutely cooking.
Yeah, yeah, I have to agree. I feel like he's deserved that national team spot. I feel like he would have got it anyway because I feel like Ancelotti takes a lot more Serie A players into consideration. Specifically, I feel like both Carlos Augusto and Luis Enrique will eventually play for the Brazilian national team if Enrique does play more, and obviously he will have to because Denzel's going to need more rest. Yeah, I'm very happy for him. He deserves it. He's been playing amazing. I feel like Kivu is a lot less like he has a lot less favorites, if that makes sense, in the squad. Like he would genuinely what Inzaghi basically the gaslighting that Inzaghi used to do of like a reward based on training performance. I feel like Kivu actually does that, which
Yep.
would also answer the question of Andy Diouf for me. Now I'm not saying that Andy Diouf hasn't been training well, but we haven't seen this guy since the Torino game. Like
Yeah.
I feel like there's a reason
Well,
behind
it's
that.
also been everyone had 3 months extra over Andy Doof
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
of course. But like I'm just going based off of like Kivu. Like obviously you're right. That's not Diouf's fault. Like he just arrived, you know.
Yeah.
But the the whole idea of giving whoever is performing in training and also performing in the games, like literally the start versus the bench, is what I like a lot because it just means that Demarco needs to earn a spot now, and I feel like the interview was kind of funny because he was I don't know if you've seen it the interview the quote from Demarco ahead of the Champions League game where he was talking about how last season he couldn't get into a rhythm, which is why he was always um why he wasn't physically quite there
Yeah.
when he started more games than he did this season, which is a very interesting quote. So he's just basically wanting to throw shots at Inzaghi for no reason. But yeah, no, I feel like the real reason also for Demarco the last 1 2 games to like for him to play better is because he feels that pressure from Carlos Augusto and he's like, oh, I actually have to do something now. For that last season that wasn't
Yeah.
really the case because he knew that Inzaghi didn't really have the balls to start Augusto on a regular basis. Like I'll say it how it is. But the fact that Kivu
Yeah.
recognizes Augusto's like work rate, and also obviously I feel like he keeps improving footballing wise as well, which is great to see. I feel like yeah, it's a win-win situation really because now you can play both wing backs, and whenever they get the chance to
Yeah.
start, they will try and impress and try and push each other a level higher, which is great to see.
Yep. Absolutely. The last player I wanted to mention, he's gotten his first couple appearances, um, one in the Champions League and one in the league. At the goalkeeper position, Josep Martinez finally in goal. It looks like we're finally seeing the movement of Sommer out of goal and Josep Martinez in. Now Kivu did kind of stand his ground. Sorry, it wasn't Ajax because he stood his ground right after the Juve game and said
Yeah,
that Sommer was playing. And so it was Sassuolo and then against Cagliari as well the next weekend that Josep Martinez played. Um, and so, yeah, honestly, two comfortable performances, not much to, write home about. But um, I'm glad that he's gotten some minutes this early into the season and didn't have to wait till the Coppa Italia to see him.
Yeah, I think Kivo said that in his press conference as well. You know, it doesn't have to be the wait until whatever round it is in the Coppa Italia where you're like, okay, let's throw in the other goalkeeper, like every team does. I feel like this is very brave. I like it. Did kind of find it funny how he said after the Juventus game, obviously Sommer didn't have the greatest time. He was like, "Oh no, Sommer's staying number one. He'll start against Ajax." And then the game after Ajax, you throw in Martinez. Basically, just did that to not give the media what they want or what they were expecting, because they were expecting
Yeah.
Martinez to come in because Kivu saw that Sommer wasn't great against Juventus. You know, he might be past his prime, whatever. Which is interesting because what is Sommer's prime? He just had like two amazing games against Barcelona in the semi-final in the Champions League, which was only a few months ago. So, however, that rapid decline like came about, whatever, right? But it's interesting to see that like he didn't want to throw in Pepe Martinez straight away, genuinely just because that's what the media was expecting after that performance. So he was like, let me wait
Yeah.
another game so it doesn't look that obvious that I'm replacing Sommer.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like the fact that he's then played the Cagliari game as well is good to see. I do feel like it might be a reverse situation when it comes to, for example, what we had with Onana and Handanovic, where Onana was playing Champions League and Coppa, I believe, and Handanovic was playing Serie A. It might be reversed now. I think Josep Martinez might be the Serie A goalkeeper now. Obviously, it's only been the last 4 games that we can judge based off of that. But someone played the last 2 Champions League games, and Martinez played the last 2 Serie A games. We'll see about the next game against Cremonese how that might play out. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's good to have that transition once again, like we saw with Onana happen, and hopefully, eventually he takes over because we didn't spend those 15 million for nothing.
Yeah. No, I've got, not much more to add to that. I do think that the summer playing him against Ajax was a little bit, it was, if you listen to the Italian football podcast, you'll know that Nima was kind of annoyed with Kivu interacting with that question, that an experienced coach kind of brushes that off and doesn't even acknowledge it. And so Kivu kind of backed himself into a corner by answering it, saying like, "Yes, I'm gonna play Sommer now." And so he did, but I think it's a little bit of giving confidence to Sommer that, hey, you are a good goalkeeper. I do trust you, but we do need to start to see what Martinez is like. We do have a future at this club that we need to protect.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny how
um,
Kivu said Sommer will remain the number one, and then he goes on to play Martinez 2 times in a row. Like
yeah,
that was a bit like, yeah, like kind of what Nima said. Like you kind of committing to something, but then if you actually want to change goalkeeper, you're kind of going against your word. Like, yeah, it's a bit
yeah.
interesting, but yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah, going through, I know that it was around 30 minutes, I think, probably about 45 minutes
Yeah,
going through
we're
all
about
this, but
45 minutes in, yeah.
yeah, this is I mean, that's the big meat of the news that has happened in the last few weeks. So, got through all of that. Um, yeah, and then we're gonna go through some of the Loney report. First, I want to talk about the biggest news, our biggest star that we're in control of still. Um, Two great Champions League games from Alexander Stankovic. Um,
Incredible.
and I've seen Brugge fans say he's better than Yashari. I think, it's a little bit premature for that, but they're super excited about him. Brugge value him over 40 million now already. I've seen a report of that. Um, and we have a buyback next summer for 23 million.
We're
So,
living good, yes.
yes. Somehow paying them 13 million to take him for a season is going to end up being a bargain for us. But yeah, he's looked great. Did you catch his games?
Yeah, especially the game yesterday against Atalanta. It's a shame that they lost it so late on.
Mhm.
If you're a Brugge fan, but yeah, just again, he doesn't look out of place whatsoever. Very mature. Um, yeah, barely sets a foot wrong. Very involved. yeah, slotted right into the team as well. From what I've seen, the few minutes and games that I've watched, obviously primarily the Champions League games, it's incredible. Yeah, I mean, I think me and you are on the same level here, like, or on the same wavelength. Like, we expected this because we knew, like, he has this in him, you know, like he can do this, and he just needs to have that stage in order to show what he can actually do. But it's amazing to see.
Yeah,
It's amazing to see.
there was no losing for him this season. You know, if he stays at Inter, he stays at Inter. But he went to Brugge and he's playing in the Champions League and he's playing serious minutes for a title contending team
Yeah,
in Belgium. Like, yeah, there was no losing for him this season, and I'm just glad that he's taking his opportunity. Um, next, Valentin Carboni. I don't know if you caught some of his games. He had a good substitute appearance against Como. I was able to watch that one. Um, and yeah, I mean, there are some physical traits that I don't particularly love with Valentin, but he is so technical and so good that kind of was highlighted when he came on against tired legs. And then he wasn't as good against Bologna. I didn't hear anything about his if he played this weekend. Let me check it real
he did.
quick.
I'll put it in one of the group chats. He came on in like the 60th, 70th minute. I was watching that.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
I did just want to
but
say that the he hasn't really lived up to the start he had with Genoa, and I also
mhm.
feel like he hasn't gotten the minutes that he deserves after those first 1, 2, 3 amazing games that he had. However, um, maybe or hopefully Inter applies some sort of pressure to be like, guys, we didn't loan him out for nothing. You know, it's not like they have the greatest of players in their squad. He deserves more starts. You know, let's be honest. There's yeah, plenty of room for him to do well still.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say that. I think their manager, please remind me his name. I'm going blank at the
Patrick
moment.
Vieira.
Had a long yeah, Vieira. I had a long day at work, guys. Sorry.
It's
But
okay.
yeah, he's started to change some things in that team and change the formation a little bit as well. So I know he's played centrally as a 10 and then also on the right wing. So he should be able to play both of those. He's played both of those for a long time, but sometimes, like you said, you don't get minutes, you don't get continuity in a position or in minutes. You know, he's also young. It's going to fluctuate. So
Yeah.
I hope that he can continue to get minutes. Came on against Lazio after they were 3-0 down. So it's not like there was much he could do there. Um, and then someone that, and this is going to be the last player we talk about on the Loan Watch, has had some good games recently
I know
in
what
the
you're gonna
Serie A.
say.
Ebenezer San Miro. Oh my days. He has been lighting up the pitch. Um, yeah, what have you thought about him?
Incredible, incredible. Specifically, I want to highlight. I know you were probably gonna highlight anyway. His performance last weekend. We got man of the match as well in a 0-0 draw against. Help me out real quick. Fiorentina.
Yes, Fiorentina.
Thank you. So 0-0 draw. You know, no goal scored, but if you win man of the match in a 0-0, that means you was doing something. You was active. So yeah, I did watch like 30, 40 minutes of that game. There was one run that he made from like inside of their own half, all the way out to the left wing, then cut back, little step over, little cross, and then Zola missed the header onto the crossbar.
Jeez.
What? It's not fully in the highlights, in the Serie A highlights, but when you watch that live, you were like, what is this guy doing? Because he had the option to pass it out to the left winger or left back,
Mhm.
and he just ignored him, kept running, kept running, kept running, and then crossed it in. That would have been the
With
assist
his
of the
weak
season
foot.
so far. With his weak foot, yeah,
Also
he's
with his weak
left-footed.
foot.
Yeah, he has a lot to offer, and I feel like Pisa is the right place for this season for him to develop. Um, you know, like I like what I'm seeing from there, from the whole team. Obviously just got promoted, and yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see. I feel like he can be a great asset to have in the future, and obviously right now, good to keep an eye on him.
Yeah. There's one thing about especially about him playing at Pisa is they trust him, which is really good. You know, I think he's going to be allowed to make mistakes and they're not going to throw on some veteran to replace him, and trying to chase safety and not being relegated this season.
Yeah, I feel like that's the
Um,
difference to Carboni as well. Sorry to interrupt you. That's the difference to Carboni and
yeah,
Genoa in terms of trusting Aloni,
mhm, yeah, yeah. The one thing I thought after watching both his Napoli performance and his Fiorentina performance, he is going to make us regret panic buying Andy Doof. Nothing against Andy Doof, but this kid, left-footed, ball carrier. He holds onto the ball a little bit too long sometimes, but still, he wants the ball. He can carry the ball. Technically, from what I've seen, especially because I've watched him more than Andy Doof, but the clips, he's more technical than
Yeah,
Andy Doof. And all he needs is to beef up a little bit. And he is going to step in next season if he comes back. And Kivu would trust him. That's the Pio team, the team that he kept
true,
for many
true.
years. So
Yeah,
he already knows Akan Sanmiro.
yeah.
He's gonna step in. He's gonna jump in right in front of Andy Diouf, and it's just gonna be a shame that we got this guy anyway. With this guy waiting in the wings, ready to come on, and he's gonna. I hope he continues to play this way for
Yeah.
Pisa all season long.
It's great to see. It's the same with Carboni as well. Carboni's in that same generation. Spinacci kind of not. He's like kind of a year too young for that. But players that Kivu managed when he was in the Inter youth system. Yeah, Akit Samir is gonna bring us a lot of joy if we decide to trigger that buyback clause. If Pisa
Yeah,
triggered that buy
yeah,
option, it's complicated.
yeah.
But
We
yeah,
only
you get the
lose.
point. Yeah,
Yeah, if they trigger, for everyone that is wondering, because I did see some questions, if Pisa triggered the option, our buyback option is only an extra million. So we would only be paying them a million in on the balance sheet to get him back. So it's a good deal. That's how that's how Beppe does deals all together. And I guarantee that's why they're playing him so much as well, because they actually have the option to buy him and make a profit off of him.
they want that million
While we
basically. That's a lot to
Yeah.
Pisa. Yeah,
Yeah, while Genoa doesn't have an option on Carboni. It's
yeah.
a dry loan. He's coming back next summer. Anyway, yeah. So a lot of good performances and a lot of positivity around Inter right now. Uh, yeah, it's good to see. Um, Now we're gonna kind of shift into the team news, right? So, one quick thing before we start getting into some cool news. Piero Ausilio has decided to stay at Inter. He's not going to accept the offer from Saudi Arabia to go be sporting director for Inzaghi. Um, I have mixed feelings. Glad it's over. Um, but
Yeah.
whatever. He's staying. um, and then I want to ask you, um, Inter has launched a free channel. I don't know if it's a YouTube channel or if it's on their website. It's called Inter 24/7,
I
and
mean,
they have committed.
yes.
Yeah, sorry,
No,
I
no, no.
did a
I
little
got it
premature.
on the screen right here. I was confused when I saw this. I don't really know. So Ace said I'm ready to be jobless because it's 24/7. Um, I don't know what is gonna be. Is it just gonna like? I feel like when you turn it on, the first thing you're gonna see usually is gonna be some games from like 2000s. I feel like that's what it's gonna be. Just basically
Mhm.
using the archives that Inter has of like old games. And it says available in Italian in Italy and in English worldwide. The channel offers a unique blend of Inter's past and present. Fans can relive historic matches and explore archival content at no cost. Enjoy highlights and training clips, original programming, in-depth magazine shows. I don't know how much new stuff there's actually going to be that we haven't had up until this point. Like, you know how we barely get like an insight into training, for example. I
Mhm.
feel like that won't really change. They're just gonna show like the same 2 minute clip with techno music that's way too loud, over and over again. But it's better. It's better than to not have it, I guess.
Yeah.
This is
Lovely,
a
lovely
step in the.
intermedia house.
We love it, right? We love it. Um, but it's gonna be. I mean, it says it's a free ad-supported streaming television um channel, which basically means ads, but like it's free.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I just don't know how much new content we're actually gonna get, but I like the idea.
Yeah, I know. So I've seen recently that the club has started its own English speaking podcast. Of course, they have a ton of Italian content. Um, I think the goal here was to be a little bit like Barcelona and Real Madrid, who have their own television channels,
Yes.
ad-supported television channels. It might not be the exciting content, but
Something to
yeah,
watch.
it is. It's something. And I know that I would love watching those old games. What if they pull something out of the archives, the Grande Inter from the 1960s?
Yeah, it's sure.
Would be,
Sure.
I would just love to see all that, and the
Seeing
history of the club.
a total of 17 pixels on your screen from
Yeah,
whatever the first two Champions Leagues were.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and those amazing cameras that are, and the quality pitches at that time,
Yeah.
not the sand and potato farming pitches. But yeah, it's cool. We'll see what it turns out to be. But that's definitely something that Oak Tree is just. I think that they're trying to put, you know, more media content out there, growing the brand, making it more accessible to people. It's yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Um, so I have those two things, and then like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we finally have an update and a step forward in the San Siro news. So,
You want me to read
over the
it?
last, yes, please,
Okay.
everything that's come from the
Because I
last
have
couple of
two
weeks.
tweets put up here. I know before we started recording, we were unsure if the sale had actually gone through or not. But if I read through the official statement again from both Inter and Milan, it says the two clubs are pleased with the city council's approval. I saw a clip of it from like whenever they decided it. Um, the city council's approval of the sale of the San Siro and the surrounding area, a historic and decisive step for the future of the clubs and the city. Awaiting the official confirmation, of the council decision by the city government, the clubs look ahead with confidence and responsibility to the next steps of the process that will lead to the creation of a new stadium meeting the highest international standards, blah, blah, blah. But what it says in the first paragraph is approval of the sale, which tells me that the 197 million bid that we talked about before recording, at least it sounds like to me from the official statement itself, that this is done, right? Like the sale is done.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if the money has actually transferred
Okay.
from from Inter Milan's bank account to the city council's bank account, but you get what I mean. Like in terms of like the paperwork that needs to be done, I feel like this is basically complete. And the second team is, basically it's the second team. Sorry, second tweet is basically when the news broke, like 5 a.m. in the morning here. I don't know what they were doing at 5 a.m. in the morning, but yeah, the city council voted in favor of the sale because it was a vote, right? And yeah, so they are, which I was a bit confused about the ability to demolish it because I thought that some parts of the stadium are protected and you can't actually demolish them. But I guess they somehow will work around it. It's just, yeah. I remember some tweets about that being like, oh, the Secondo Anello cannot be
Yeah,
destroyed or whatever.
it's the whatever. I think it's the towers,
Or the
right? And
towers, yeah.
they're directly connected to the second tier, and so if you can't destroy the second tier without destroying the towers, and so the towers are protected.
Yeah.
If I have that correct. If someone knows more, they can correct us in the comments.
But yeah, good news, right?
Yeah, absolutely good news. Finally, after 30 years, I think, after the first time that this was mentioned, we finally have the approval to control the San Siro. Let's not even talk about what they're planning to do yet. I mean, we're going to get that news over the next month. But strictly the fact that Milan and Inter own their own stadium. Already, they don't have to share revenue with the city.
Yeah.
Like that's already an improvement. That's something that less than 10 clubs in Italy have, which is crazy to
And
me.
those that do,
Um,
they're the only ones that are also working on the infrastructure. It feels like,
yeah,
because obviously the rest of the
yeah.
stadiums are all city owned or whatever.
hmm So, we've had some news about which designs it might be. We've had news about the San Siro being torn down. I would imagine the San Siro is going to stay until they have a new stadium, because it's the San Siro, the land that it's on, and the adjacent land.
Mhm.
So it's like the entire property and infrastructure around the San Siro is now owned by Inter and Milan. So yeah, this is finally a move befitting of the size of these two clubs.
Yeah. I want to try and see if I can find a picture of the map, like how it's supposed to look like. Because I do remember some stadium. I do remember the. Hold on, let me see if I
Yeah,
can
I
find it.
know. Also, if anyone was confused about what was happening around the like the sale itself, so yeah, that sounds like the sale has been approved. The money hasn't been finalized, I guess, is the only thing that we're waiting on. There was a vote a couple weeks ago on when the vote will take place for this. So when you are confused on what was happening, there was a vote about 2 weeks ago that the vote for the approval of the sale had to happen on that day, which is why I think they were up so late into the night and early morning, is because they weren't allowed to leave until a decision was made.
Yeah,
And so like all the arguments were made, and then finally a decision was made on the, where the stadium was going to end up.
yeah.
Um
This what you can't see now is what everyone else can see, is the picture of the current state of San Siro and its surrounding areas, as they like to say. And then this is the future, which is basically gonna have the stadium here in this partly in the parking lot and partly in whatever this is, wasteland basically. And instead of the San Siro, they're gonna keep the pitch from by the looks of it and just make like a training pitch out of it. Or maybe make it like a historical, I don't know, whatever. We all know how that's gonna end up. They're gonna end up vandalizing it. But like like this is the plan. It's like some modern futuristic area here to the right where San Siro is right now. Again, I just to quickly throw in my personal opinion, they should have renovated the old one, man. Like I don't see like yes, okay, you might have some extra costs and like feasibility studies and whatever they always talk about. It's the San Siro, it's the mercato. You have to make it work in order to renovate it. It's a shame that they don't. It's a shame that they're gonna knock it down. They're like they've been playing here for like centuries, not centuries, sorry, decades. It's
100 years since it's been built. And
literally a
yeah,
century. Then, like,
mhm,
it's a shame that they can't find a solution to renovate it, to restore it to former glory and even better, to actually like give the stadium what it deserves. But it is what it
absolutely.
is.
My real complaint with that, just to finish off this topic, is that the city should have been doing this for years.
Oh yeah,
You own
100%.
the stadium. You can ask the clubs, "Hey, would you mind helping us since you use the stadium, since its wear and tear is on you? Can you help us with the renovations?" Which should have started 40 years ago.
Yeah,
The San Siro is going to be torn down not because it can't be fixed, but because it has deteriorated so much that the cost to fix it is just astronomical. Like you
yeah,
might as well build a new stadium
yeah,
with everything looking shiny and new
yeah.
instead of having to replace every minute detail of the San Siro. I think my complaint isn't a new stadium, it's the design that we've been seeing. You have the opportunity to make another iconic stadium like the San Siro, but you're going to make one, from what I've seen, that looks like all of the other soulless stadiums in nothing unique, basically.
It
So
looks
new
like a
stadiums in
random
England.
stadium from FIFA. Like,
Yes.
I don't know if you guys that play FIFA will know. Like those stadiums that don't actually exist in real life, they're just like there to as filler stadiums in the game. It looks like the most generic stadium you could possibly imagine, and it takes away like literally what I was touching on earlier, the soul of what the San Siro has. The San Siro has like it's iconic. People want if you ask someone, if I talk to my friends, even just people that don't even watch Syria, and they're like, oh, what's on your bucket list? They say San Siro. Everyone wants to go San Siro. trust me, it's not because Inter Milan plays such beautiful culture. It's not that. It's because the stadium is iconic. You know. Um, yeah, it's a shame, really. But yeah, I think you already said everything that needs to be said. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what's tied to this news as well? So the next thing I wanted to discuss is quickly is Oak Tree have announced that they are going to listen to offers for the club, which I'm sure is going to be received with great praise because there's a lot of people that don't want Oak Tree here anymore. But I believe the value is 1.5 billion is how they
Correct.
value the club.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think the timing of that news being released is a coincidence. So once the decision that whether San Siro was going to be sold to the clubs or not, so that couple weeks ago, once that decision was made, that's when Oak Tree said, "We value the club at 1.5 billion." It was a statement saying, "You want to come get Inter? This is your price. We're
Yeah.
going to have a stadium situation resolved when you come and ask for this club." And so, yeah, good. I think they've done great work, in my opinion. I've also said that I want them out by 2027.
Yeah. I mean,
So
for the like little, basically like uh that 2, 3, 4 year period of not coming in and not like the situation wasn't easy at all in terms of what they took over. So
yeah.
you have to appreciate what they did, but yeah, as a long term solution, definitely not ideal. Yeah.
Suning brought Inter into the 21st century, and I think Oak Tree has brought Inter to 2025 to get them ready for the future.
Yeah, that's a good
So,
way of putting it.
um, yeah. And just to wrap up, we do have some Mercato news, like I said. First, I'll talk about the. I mean, yeah, it's just for us. It's just involving Inter players. So Davide Fratesi and Carlos Augusto are in talks for extensions at the moment. Um, good for two reasons. You know, if they play, Augusto's been playing well, so he needs an extension. If Fratesi gets an extension, Kivu likes him. If he doesn't play well, you're protecting a sale, so his price doesn't drop, his value doesn't drop.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, for Fortesi, there's been talks about that. I know Matteo Moetta has been heavy on pushing that in on his YouTube channel. Like, keep an eye on Fortesi, his contract's going to be extended, all of that good stuff. And seemingly, also from what we've heard through the media, Kivu loves him, which hasn't really been reflective in his minutes, but Fratesi was also injured, I feel like, so it doesn't really, yeah, it doesn't really help it as well. So the fact that he is, hopefully back to full fitness now, and he'll get more minutes if Kivo's really that obsessed with him, then I feel like, yeah, the contract extension will eventually make sense. Maybe not right now as much, but yeah, eventually it will make sense.
and then also it only took 5 appearances, but Manuel Akanji's option for 13 or 15 million looks like it's going to be exercised as soon as they possibly can.
Yeah,
So Inter's already planning on making that official. Yeah, the team, the management, and us fans already love him. So
yeah,
yeah, we're gonna wrap up just quickly previewing this weekend's games. I'm gonna tell y'all the days that all of these are going on. Um, start off like we started the podcast with the Inter women's team. They play Ternana this weekend, this Saturday, for their very first Serie A game. So the actual league season starts this Saturday. So hoping for a win from the ladies. The Primavera squad plays Lazio on Saturday as well. So we're gonna have um, two teams playing on Saturday. I believe that's an early morning game. I believe 11 a.m. for the Primavera squad, Central European time. And then the U23 team plays Ospitaletto on Sunday.
correct.
Um, so, and then let me check the day, but the senior squad plays Cremonese, and I don't know if that's
Saturday, 6 p.m.
it is Saturday as well. That's what I thought. So we have
Yes,
three games on Saturday.
correct.
The women and the Primavera squad are going to be in the morning, midday, and then the Cremonese Inter game is going to be the second to last game of the day, or that second to last slot, that mid-afternoon slot.
Yep.
So, yeah, that is all we have this week. Simi, please close us out.
Well, guys, it's been great to be back. Feels great to have this weekly discussion again. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in as per usual. Like I said at the start, make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends, with your fellow Interisti, everything, all of that good stuff. Sean, it's been good to have you again for one of the longer
So
episodes.
glad you're
But
back.
yeah, no, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you guys next week. And hopefully we'll report on, another win, keep the winning streak going. But for now, guys, we are out, and I'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Forza Inter Sempre.